Got a good one for you today. So Charlamagne the God, finally, he is showing that he has some, I'll say, testicular fortitude. Many of you know him. He is the popular co-host of The Breakfast Club. He's also a frequent guest on The View. I think they love Charlamagne. He's a sure bet. He's a sure guest. He'll show up. He'll have some talking points that'll make some headlines. You know, us YouTubers will jump on it, of course. But I was surprised to see him pushing back the way he did with the ladies. He's had some pushback in the past, but in this episode that I watched, it was just like, oh, someone found their testicular fortitude. Now, Charlamagne is one of those guys where he says things that I agree with from time to time, but I feel like with him, he's one of those folks who just kind of dips his finger on his tongue and sees where the wind is blowing, and that's where he goes. So I don't have that 100% trust in him, because to me, I need you to be consistent across no matter which audience you're in the front of. But he seems to have been pushing back here on this recent episode of The View where they are discussing President Joe Biden's pardoning of his son Hunter, and Joy leads it off. And I want you guys to take a listen because it was interesting.
Let me ask you something that's going around right now. A lot of this conversation about President Biden getting criticized from both sides of the aisle for pardoning his son Hunter after repeatedly saying he would never do it. And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, et cetera, as if the other side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, you know, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, you know, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, you know, whether or not, you know, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, you know, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, oh, you know, nobody's above the law, I respect, you know, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie.
I want to stop right there and say he is absolutely right. And for many of you who watched my previous video, you know that he's echoing a lot of the things that I said in that video. And it is about this haughty attitude that some in the Democratic Party had, not all. Some of them had this haughty attitude about being superior. I mean, I'm not going to compare you to a man that you branded a Nazi and Hitler. Why am I comparing you, blue-eyed boy, to this person over here? And the thing about ethics and morality is it should not dissipate based on what your adversary is doing. So if you're not this guy, then don't compare yourself to this guy who you've branded a Nazi and Hitler and a threat to democracy. So why are you comparing the two? Hold yourself to a higher standard because that's what you've been doing all along. Now you want to get dirty. Now you want to say, oh, well, they're doing it, so we're just going to jump right in and do it. Those types of people are the worst because they show that they have no integrity. Because let me tell you about integrity. Integrity is no matter what the world is doing, no matter what everybody is saying, if you have this morality in you, if you say we're more ethical, then that should carry over regardless of what the other side is doing. You don't say, well, you know what, they're not playing fairly anyway, so I'm just not going to play fairly. Then what's the point? What was the point of all that you said before? You should still maintain your stance that that's not the way we're going to act. That's not what we're going to do. And to his point, again, I think a lot of people could have understood if Joe Biden said, I'm doing this because this is my son, and that's the end of it. But it's because he continued to lie. And the fact that these ladies of The View don't understand that it was in fact a lie, and you're going to hear Whoopi in a second, is what's blowing my mind. It's like they're so blinded by politics that they can't just call it out for what it is. Oh, some people say it's a lie. No, it's not some people say it's a lie. It's a lie. Let's go.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over. And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. Listen, they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying. He don't have to do that.
So we're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh no. By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're
mad.
No.
Okay.
If I could get in on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice. Democrats ran on that. The same DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. How we shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does. But then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain to me why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls? He's wrong.
Nobody
he lied.
has criticized Donald Trump more than me or Charlamagne Gyal.
I'm sorry. Yeah, people have criticized him more. I've criticized him more. We've all criticized him more. But you're missing my question. My question is, what is it that makes people flip out with Joe, but we don't have the same kind of thing?
Well, I don't think people are flipping out with Joe. I think Democrats are flipping out with Joe because Democrats believe that they don't represent what he's currently representing. But that's just not true. That's why I say they stand on this moral high ground that simply does not exist. And I think this is also the problem when we pick sides, right? We've turned political parties into teams. If you pick a side, right, if you say you're a Democrat, if you say you're a Republican, you refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why I'm an independent.
Yes, but
That is it right there. Objectivity. Objectivity. He nailed it with that. He nailed it with that. He nailed it. And this is why so many people lean towards being an independent so they can, or centrist or whatever, just to call things out. And these women are not as critical. It's so funny. She talks about, what is it about Joe Biden that the minute he makes a decision like this, people are clutching their pearls. People are clutching their pearls because he positioned himself as this bastion of morality. We don't do that, what he does, what Donald Trump does. We're not that. So that's why people are like, what? Excuse me? Mr. Bastion of morality? So, yes, people will clutch their pearls. So what you should do is be a little bit more measured when you're dealing with people, and then people won't hold you to those standards like that. Oh, this man is Hitler, but we're going to have a peaceful transition of power to Hitler. And Alyssa nailed it in her assessment. These are the same institutions that you said we have faith in, we have trust in, and that guy over there doesn't believe in it, but we believe in these institutions now all of a sudden because it's your kid, it's your son. Oh no, I think that this whole system or this political, because of politics, has been corrupted. Oh, okay. Be measured, be fair. That's all I'm saying. And these women are not fair. This is the liberal view here on ABC. That is all it is, the liberal view.
Not a monolith. We're not, Democrats are not a monolith.
But why can't you say when Democrats are wrong? And why can't Republicans say when Republicans are wrong?
I'll tell you when Democrats are wrong.
So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No, I don't. And can I just point this out to you? The president has a pardon power,
you're ridiculous.
Right?
I didn't say you were ridiculous, Ms. Goldberg.
Yeah,
I would never. I said that. I just think that's
Think
ridiculous.
about it. Just think about it this way.
Are you kidding me?
Just very quickly, can you read?
Boy, you see how hot she runs just real. I'm not ridiculous. He didn't even say you're ridiculous. He said that's ridiculous. And he had to quickly pacify her. Come over here and give me a kiss. What if he had said, no, I did say you're ridiculous. Or I said that's ridiculous, but no, now that I think about it, you are ridiculous. These women are, listen, on my channel, and a lot of people will think that I'm a certain way or I believe a certain thing, but everybody can get it. And when Trump starts to make, and this is why I always say to people who come across my platform, don't be so quick to subscribe. I want you to subscribe, but don't be so quick to subscribe, because sometimes people come across my platform when I'm doing a video that is, in their view, positive towards Donald Trump. Because if I'm criticizing, a lot of people, if I'm criticizing Joe Biden, they feel like, oh, she's being positive towards Donald Trump. I'm just trying to be fair. But in being fair means that when Donald Trump takes the reins in January and he says dumb things, he makes mistakes, I'm going to call him out the same way I'm calling out Joe Biden and crew. So don't be so quick to subscribe, because one of my pet peeves, when people come across my channel and say, oh, I'm unsubscribing because I don't like this, and oh, you have a bad take and all that stuff. I am a independent channel and everybody can get it. Everybody. And that's all I'm saying is just call a spade a spade.
Can you reframe it in this way and think about it maybe in this way? The president has the ultimate pardon power. Every president has done this, right?
Yeah.
And so people are saying is that Joe Biden is now a liar, as opposed to Joe Biden is someone who now knows that the person that is going to be in the White House is on a revenge tour and his son is on an enemies list. And so he is using his rightful power, his rightful political power, to pardon his son. Now, is that a lie, or is that perhaps being pragmatic, having a change of opinion?
Get out of here. He nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. I would love to see objectivity on both sides. I would love to see Republicans be able to say, hey, you know what? Trump is my guy. I support Trump. But I think he erred in this area, or I was pissed off that he did this, or he was absolutely wrong. You can support someone and still call them out. It doesn't negate your support. You could say, I love Joe Biden. I love Joe Biden, but what he did was wrong. I've respected this man, but what he did was wrong. And I think that maybe a part of his pardoning Biden, Hunter, is to cover himself as well. And for Sonny to come with this faux outrage, it's not any faux outrage. Why isn't Joe Biden using his power? And this usually comes like in the last 2 weeks or so of his being in office. The president will start to pardon people. You know how many people are languishing who have been waiting for pardons? He literally pardoned his son over the Thanksgiving weekend, or made the decision that that's when he was going to do it, even though I felt like he always had that in the back of his mind. What about the many people who were affected by his crime bill? What about them? What about, I feel like these pardons should be reserved for people who were incarcerated improperly, wrongly. You know, you found out later on, like, this was just egregious, the sentence that they got, or someone was put in jail, but it was revealed later on that the investigators botched the investigation. And so this person has been languishing in jail. So we're going to make this right. You know what I mean? Like something. But just to use it to get his boy out. And it's like, oh, he just, you know, he's being pragmatic. Sonny, those don't have it in them to be like an independent thinker. They're just too aligned. This is why I've said, and I know you might say, you can't possibly hate politics. You talk about politics all the time. I don't talk about politics all the time. A lot of you just come across my channel when I'm talking about politics. I'm not always talking about politics. But I hate it because a lot of people are just in their own silos and they refuse to see the other side. And it happens on both sides. I get criticized from Democrats. I get criticized from Republicans all the time, depending on what type of video I'm doing. It never fails. Charlamagne nailed it. And I hope that this doesn't get him uninvited from The View, or they're going to slow down on inviting him, because I actually like this side of him. I like that. I didn't think he was being nasty towards Joe Biden. I didn't think he was being nasty towards Donald Trump. I think he was just calling it as it is. And these ladies keep inviting people on, but then still they don't get it. Not all of them. Of course, Alyssa and Sarah look like they have sense. But Whoopi and Sonny, Whoopi is just as bad as Sonny. You know, Sonny gets a lot of flack. She gets a lot of bad treatment, but that Whoopi, she's just as bad as Sonny. Just as bad. Anyway, drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about all of this. I thought this was a very good episode of The View. And I've said before on my platform, and I'll say it again, I actually enjoy The View. Even though I don't enjoy their takes sometimes, I still do enjoy it because it provides really good content. I'll tell you that much. It provides really good content. And then it allows you to see how people think. It allows you to see how people think. I really do wish that they would get someone super strong on this platform. Why don't they hire Megyn Kelly to be a co-host if she's willing to go on a show like this? Go hire Megyn Kelly to be on a show like this. Megyn's a highly intelligent woman. She could combat these hosts really well. Go hire Megyn. Let's get someone super strong on the platform who could, because if Sarah says she's an independent, Alyssa is Republican, but Alyssa, I don't know. I don't know. I like that she's being reflective. I like that. But yeah, they need someone super duper strong on here to combat Whoopi and Sonny. But I pray that The View is never canceled. Never. Just add somebody in there to mix it up who could really call things out. Anyway, drop your comments down below. As a matter of fact, you can weigh in on this episode. But what I would really like to hear from you all is if you would drop down below who you think would make a really good co-host on The View. It can be anyone, male, female, I don't think it has to always be a Charlamagne. Do you think Charlamagne should be a co-host on The View? Maybe he's angling for a spot on The View. Who knows? But drop a name down below. Can be someone we know or don't know, and I will read it in a next video, related video, about who you think would make a really good co-host on The View. If you like this channel, give it a thumbs up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your family members and friends. What else? Subscribe only if you are the type of person who can handle a different viewpoint. And if I'm saying something that you disagree with, you can stay put. If that's not you, if you're like, if she's saying something that's totally against everything I believe in, do not subscribe. It's quite okay for you to watch and mosey on down the brick road. And also, if you want to support this channel, go into the description box. You're going to see all the various ways that you can give to this channel. One of my favorite ways of late is for you to buy me a coffee. And you can go in there. It's buymeacoffee.com/ThisBahamianGyal. But the link is down below. It makes it very easy to contribute anything that you want. And it is not mandatory. It is solely at your discretion. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah! Toodles.